My girlfriend keeps a spreadsheet tracking every spider in her apartment. I got her a pet tarantula, and now she's feeding them to it. Original post. My GF, 27, and I, 31, have been dating for just over a year. This sounds so cliché, but she is almost perfect for me. She is really into health and fitness, has an excellent career that she worked really hard for, is great in bed, kind, and intelligent. But she lives in a basement suite, which is nicely decorated, and she keeps it very clean. Any of you that have lived in a basement suite before know that no matter what you do, you get bugs, ants, pill bugs, beetles, and spiders. I spent a fair amount of time at her place and noticed right away that there was a spider in almost every corner. I asked her about it, and she told me she doesn't kill them because they eat the other bugs. Okay, I did some light research, and sure enough, she was right. I found it a little creepy, but not a deal breaker. Here's where things get weird. About a week and a half ago, I was using her computer and noticed a spreadsheet called Babies. Curiosity got the best of me, and I opened it. She had lovingly named all of the spiders. She kills the other bugs and feeds them to the spiders, and keeps track of it all in a creepy rear-end spreadsheet. She keeps track of their food, their color, size, web size, and some other poo-poo that I didn't really understand. I closed the spreadsheet after I realized what it was about because, 1, I felt bad for snooping, and 2, I was honestly pretty disturbed. I really love her and don't want to break up, but I'm afraid that this is a sign of mental illness. Has anyone ever heard of anything like this before? Should I say something to her? Is it okay for me to ask her to stop? Is this really that big of a deal? TLDR, GF is a crazy spider lady. Edit 1. No, I'm in the rear end and a top hat for snooping. Edit. We live in Australia. Relevant comments. Deleted. I think the big takeaway from all this is that you should never, like never, kill a spider around her. OP. No, hey, LOL. Wolfhawk 7006. You're 31 and you're unsure how a little interest in your girlfriend for over a year makes you feel? She's just logging spider data. Heaven forbid she ever does anything truly bizarre. You might go into shock. OP. You don't think it's weird at all? Pancake_ice. So long as she isn't bulking them up to have a spider fight club, I think you're okay. Yes, it is weird, but I think collecting stamps is weird. I suggest asking her about it. Apologize for snooping and ask her, but don't accuse her, why she enjoys her hobby, since it is freaking you out so much. Top comments. Jew02. Honestly, I think this is an adorably bizarre hobby. Let her have her quirks. This is pretty goddamn harmless in the grand scheme of things. Or freak out over this, confront her, and break up in 6 weeks. Your call, dude. Edit. OP. You do realize that people collect spiders, right? It's a legit and perfectly acceptable hobby. If the spiders were in cages, you probably wouldn't think twice about this. She's basically just a free-range spider collector. Big whoop. Amber 626. I had a huntsman in my house for about 6 months. I named him Jeffrey. I was absolutely terrified of spiders since I was little, so having Jeffrey around was great. I learned that he didn't want to bother me at all. I watched him hunt. It was super interesting. Learning about your fears is an awesome way to confront them. Perhaps this is what OP's GF is doing? Either way, it's a pretty awesome way to learn about them. OP. Haha, maybe I can convince her to cage them? Jew02. This is so. Oh, my sweet summer child. If this is blowing your mind, then I'm worried for you. Update. April 3rd, 2015. Original post recap. GF won't kill spiders in her apartment. Found a spreadsheet on her computer named Babies, keeping track of all of the spiders in her apartment. So, I took all of your advice and tried to embrace this part of her life. It was our anniversary last week, and I decided to get her a spider-themed gift. I was at the mall, and one thing led to another, and I ended up buying her a pet tarantula and an aquarium for it. She loved it, but I noticed the beloved spiders disappearing from around her apartment over the last few days. I asked her about it, and it turns out she's been killing them and feeding them to her new tarantula. I don't know how I feel about this. First, she was calling them babies, and now she is killing them. I'm just trying not to think about it, and hoping she doesn't find a better BF to feed me to one day. LOL. TLDR. I bought my spider-obsessed GF a pet tarantula, and she is slowly feeding her smaller spiders to it. Edit. Someone sent me a helpful message about spider food, care, etc., and it occurred to me that she might not be able to afford real food for it. Although she has a higher salary than me, she is aggressively trying to pay off student loans, so has virtually no extra money. I'm going to buy her a gift card for the pet store tomorrow. Thanks, Reddit. Edit. Apparently, spider food is very cheap. Still going to get her the gift card in case it needs anything else I didn't think of. Relevant comments. Deleted. That was a thoughtful gift. Good job. Big spiders eat little spiders. I wouldn't worry too much about it. She has a real pet spider now, one that you gave her. It sounds like you solved the problem of having wild spiders walking around the apartment, and you made your girlfriend happy. Everybody wins. Opie, thanks. Deleted. LOL, you gifted her the spider, so it is something that is way more important to her than the so-called babies. Take this as a sign of her love for you. Opie, I hope so, thanks. She named it Fluffy and unfortunately takes it out of its cage quite often. She will hold it while we are watching movies on the couch. LOL. I pretend not to be afraid of it now. Story 2. My boyfriend won't ask for my hand, and now my dad is staging a family boycott of our wedding. Is my boyfriend being selfish? Original post. I've been with my boyfriend, 25, for 3 years. We both just finished school and are finally ready for marriage. He proposed last week, and I happily said yes. I could not be happier. I love him, and he is going to be an awesome dad someday. But my BF is very new school, and my dad is kind of old school. My dad was beyond mad that my boyfriend did not ask my dad for my hand before proposing. My dad said he was willing to hear my boyfriend's apology if my boyfriend formally asks for my hand at a dinner, which my dad said he will pay for at the restaurant of my boyfriend's choosing. My dad feels like he is being very accommodating. He will bring my boyfriend's favorite wine to celebrate. I spoke to my boyfriend last night, and he won't budge. He doesn't believe in that tradition. My boyfriend showed me an article online where a Pakistani woman was stoned to death outside a courthouse because she married a man against her family's wishes. This just happened. My boyfriend, who witnessed his father be abusive and possessive with his mom as a child, has always felt strongly that women are not property. He thinks the tradition of asking for her hand is repulsive. His point is that he's met my whole family and gotten to know them. He says they have always known his intentions, and he never made it secret that he was in love with me and wanted to marry me and have children. He feels he has done enough to announce his intentions, and all of them seem to approve of him. He says that at this point, he only needs my approval to marry him and nobody else's. So yesterday, my mom told me that my dad, who is not even speaking to me because I won't set my foot down with my boyfriend, is calling the whole family and telling them not to attend my wedding. My mom says that my boyfriend is the one treating me like property by not letting me have a say in his decision not to observe a tradition that my 2 older sisters' husbands observed. I told my mother that I understand where my boyfriend is coming from and that I have decided to do away with the tradition of him asking for my hand. So, my mother is obviously mad and said that I should be ready for serious consequences. I asked her what, and she would not say, but from talking to my sister, she said that they would blackball us from all family gatherings. My 2 sisters and my mom have told me my boyfriend is being selfish. The wedding is set for August 9th. I'm worried that nobody in my family will attend my wedding. Edit. I'm getting some comments about my boyfriend asking for my parents' blessing instead of permission or hand. I just can't see the difference. There might be one, but I don't see it. Is there a big difference? TLDR, my boyfriend won't ask my dad for my hand in marriage, and my parents are having my family boycott my wedding and threatening other consequences. Relevant comments. Opie, thanks for the congrats and comments. I was just thinking as I read some comments here. One comment said that my parents should not have staged the boycott either way. So maybe the boycott signals something more than just my father wanting to be included in some way. I don't know. I'm now worried that the boycott and calling all my relatives signals more controlling issues that my dad has that I never noticed before. My 2 older sisters had no problems with their wedding because they did everything the way my dad liked. So I'm scared now that maybe my boyfriend is right, that it's not just a tradition. Deleted. My dad feels like he is being very accommodating. No. Both he and your mother are being controlling, and they are attempting to make you choose between your fiancé and them. Choose your fiancé. Otherwise, you're setting precedent for this type of behavior and interference for the rest of your marriage. Opie, this is what I'm afraid of. My fiancé and I don't practice the Catholic religion like my family does, so I wonder what will happen when my kids aren't baptized and all that. Past an asshole. You two need to have a discussion about how the children will be raised religion-wise now, before you have the child. Just advice from someone who learned the hard way. Hope we did. We don't want religion in our children's lives. We decided that education is going to be the focus, and they will make their own minds up about religion once they are educated adults. I grew up Catholic, but I don't want that for my kids. My husband grew up somewhat Christian, and he still believes in God, but he doesn't want religion to be a part of our family either. We have talked about this subject to death. You're right. It's very important. I realize we might change our minds later. Who knows? But my family doesn't know about this. I have a feeling, after this boycott, that my parents will stage another one when they find out we won't be Catholic. Update. The wedding went on as planned. My parents stuck to their guns and boycotted. One of my two sisters attended and is now happily blacklisted from our family. Nobody else from my entire family showed up, including my two brothers. The wedding was a little unconventional. My sister walked my husband down the aisle, and then his sister walked me down the aisle. I wanted this because my sister actually introduced us and helped me get my first date with him. There was no question about who gives away the bride, or even about objections. It was normal other than that. There has been no contact between me and my family, other than my one sister. My mother has made it a point to send me a card every time that they have a family gathering for holidays or birthdays at their house to let me know that my father says I'm not invited. I get one almost every month. I don't even read them anymore. I just toss them. I don't know why they keep sending them because I've made no effort to contact them, and I live over 3 hours away, so it's not like I will run into them by accident. The reason I came back to post this here is because some people here made a prediction that came true, that they would come crawling back when we had children. I am now expecting our first child, a girl. She will be the first grandchild for my parents. My parents found out about the pregnancy a few months ago through a family friend. They didn't waste any time in making demands, not requests, demands. My boyfriend and I are not religious, but I had a Catholic upbringing. I don't practice at all by choice. My mother called me back in April, telling me that my father wanted our daughter's middle name to be his mother's first name. I said no. My father was listening in on the speaker, so I went ahead and told them that they were officially uninvited from all birthdays, graduations, and any other important dates in her life. My father called me half an hour later, crying and begging me to come stay with them for the birth so my mother could care for me. I said no. He also said that he had already made arrangements for his priest to baptize her at his church, but that I needed to agree to naming her after his mother if I wanted this to happen. He said he'd already planned a big celebration for the birth and the baptism that he was paying for. I said no to all of it. He went from meekly trying to sweet-talk me to raising his voice at me, and I hung up. He called a couple of more times to apologize for losing his temper and again begged me to reconsider giving birth at a hospital near them so they could visit us. He denied having any knowledge of my mother sending me cards to uninvite us to any family functions and even said that he specifically asked her to invite us, but he was told I declined every time. He lets my mom do the dirty work so he can later hide behind her and deny he had any knowledge. He's done this since I was a little girl. He does this every time he wants to drop the hammer on somebody, but be a good cop also. He'll never change. He denied having any knowledge of why anybody in the family missed my wedding. I told him our daughter would not be baptized or Catholic at all, adding that I meant no offense to Catholics. I told him he was too manipulative and controlling, and I didn't want my daughter exposed to that. He's too toxic and just venomous. Coincidentally, the day of and for several days after that phone call, I got tons of calls and emails from my brothers, their wives, my sister, and all my aunts. They all wanted to apologize for missing my wedding, and all had specific excuses and wanted to make plans to be there for my daughter's birth. I banned them all from her life until she's old enough to decide for herself to let them in. My husband was a little surprised and not sure about banning everybody forever. He's more leaning towards supervised visits if they want to drive to us. My dad has been calling him like crazy, but we are a united front. My husband is deferring to me, but giving me ideas as to how I can give a little if I decide to. But with my family, there's no giving a little. They want it all. For now, they're all banned. I will reconsider when the youngest of our children turns 18. For now, my dad will have to settle for sucking up to my husband while I stick to my guns. Unlike him, I don't mind owning my decisions, even if it means I'm a bad cop. I'm not ready to give up a relatively drama-free, stress-free life to allow my dad and all his sheep back into our lives. TLDR, Nobody in my family showed up to our wedding other than one of my sisters. Everyone is banned from our lives. Relevant comments. Downvoted commenter. He should have just done such a small task and asked like to make peace. Geez. I mean, really pushing your family away for such a stupid reason on their side and yours. OP. But that's the thing. After that one small task, they would want to name my daughter, another small task. Then they would ask I'd go have the baby near them, another small task. Then have her baptized by their priest. Then they pick her school. Then they make life decisions for her like they tried with me and my siblings. All small tasks. Opie replying to a downvoted comment that things have gone too far and to make amends for their daughter. I guess I would tell you that not everything fits in the oversimplification in your comment. My daughter will be better off without a full family of manipulative, controlling, and abusive people or people who condone such behavior. After years of abuse, I was glad my husband decided my dad's demand that he ask permission to marry me was too antiquated. The original conflict that caused this rift was years of abuse and manipulation. I chose to burn bridges that needed to go. Otherwise, I would never be free to make my own decisions about my own life without consulting with my dad at every turn. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories happening around you.